Hey everyone, welcome back to the 3 over 32 podcast. We're going to go kind of fast a little bit over the NFL draft and its recap, specifically generally towards our teams and how we feel about, maybe the first, second, or third round draft picks. And then eventually flow through to, the local news that's been happening, like the declining of fifth year options. And then we got a little spice at the end of it. But as of right now, I'm just going to rip off the Vikings. I have really nothing else to say. I've said this in last episode about JJ McCarthy. He wasn't my first choice at quarterback. I would have rather Drake May. I would have rather fucking Micheal Penix, even if at this rate. We can get into that later. I would have rather. I mean, Jaden Daniel was my first one. Like that's the boy. LSU, go Tigers. Um, but I mean, all around, he's a good quarterback. I think the way that we're going to be perceiving him in the upcoming future, having Sam Darnold as the bridge, we're going to bring him into the fold, and he has to actually pass benchmarks due to Kevin O'Connell and Quezzy's structure for their quarterback build. It's not that we're just going to throw him in there week one where he doesn't have anything proven yet. So he has to prove these benchmarks to not only, I guess, Sam Darnold, Josh McCown, and then Kevin O'Connell, who are all previous or current quarterbacks that have played in the NFL. So I'm looking forward to JJ McCarthy. It could be a stirrup, or it could be really like this horrible, drastic measure. Bring me back to the Christian Ponder days. That would be horrendous. But I don't think we're there anymore in the NFL. Shifting gears, though, we did draft Dallas Turner. That was a shock to me. The fact that we got Dallas Turner at, I believe, 17, if I'm not mistaken, because we traded up with, and we just decide why not. I thought Greenard or whatever his name is, Jonathan Greenard, he was going to be our Daniel Hunter backup, or he was going to be our veteran instinct coming in our defensive line. But I mean, having Dallas Turner on the opposite end, showing him that ability. I've seen his recap of his. Yeah, wow, I'm blanking out. Basically, I've seen his previews. I've seen all of his stats. I've seen what he's done in college for Bama, and he's just been ongoing this monster. And I mean, I'm excited to see him. I think he's going to be the next Daniel Hunter. He had his draft, I guess, comparison to be Von Miller. It's very forsaken in that standpoint, but I mean, I can't really say much about Dallas there. I like the moves that we've made in the first round. Trading up, though, giving up that many picks is kind of ridiculous just to get, we think, our guy on both sides of the field. It's a little drastic measures. The last thing I want to say with Kyrie Jackson coming out of, I believe, FSU or Oregon, wherever he was, the corner, I believe he's great in Brian Flores' defense because what we saw last year, we were mainly objectified to the zone defense. He's generally a man coverage cornerback, which is what we need in Minnesota, especially with all the new weapons in Chicago, how Green Bay ran all over us, Creighton Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's going to be a rough season for the NFC North. So I like that pick. I think it's great. I mean, we did bolster up the offensive line, but I didn't really want to go in depth of that. But generally, I physically approve over JJ McCarthy. I'm going to back him. I'm a fan. There's banter about him saying that he's not going to be the guy in Minnesota. I truly like him. And Dallas Turner, you already have my heart, man. Let's get this season on a roll, man. We're 4 months out. I'm fucking ready. I know, Will, you're chomping at the bit with Cincinnati. They had a huge draft, and Matt, I know Malik Neighbors was a bit of a mix-up, but let's shift over to Will. Let's talk about Cincinnati right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, just going at it. I know me and Greg, we were at the draft. It was absolutely electric atmosphere, talking about that a little bit. Night one, 275 people, 275,000 people were packed in outside Ford Field. Absolutely unbelievable experience. It was awesome to see it live. But I'm excited for the NFL season. It's going to be great. And then this is definitely the first step to it. But getting to my Cincinnati Bengals, man. Amirius Mims, offensive tackle out of Georgia, 6'8", 345 pounds. I think that really needs to be all that needs to be said there. It was a need, and I knew going into the draft that this is what we were going to go for. Joe Alt, the other offensive tackle from Penn State, and the other one from Oregon State, Fasuanu, all went earlier. So he was the best positional player at pick 18 for us. People were saying that he's a little bit of a reach, a little bit slow on his feet, but I don't think so. He's going to link up well with Orlando and Trent. And I think finally, after all these years, the offensive line has finally fully addressed as much as it possibly can be to allow Joe Burrow to continue to do what he does best, to ball in the league, hopefully not get hurt. And it was a need,
We
man.
hope.
We
We hope.
yeah, we pray, man. We really pray. We cannot afford an Andrew Luck kind of career with him, man. He's our saving grace. So we got the guys to protect him. Amarius is going to be, I think, a great plug to fill in the hole there, and I was happy with it. Like I said, at 18, he was the best available. He's what we needed. We got him. Moving on, I think the steal for us later end of the second round is the wide receiver Jermaine Burton. Last year he played under Saban at Alabama, but he was a transfer from the University of Georgia where he won 2 natties. And those band wide receivers have a track record of being great. So I think inevitably when T. Higgins leaves Cincinnati, which he's going to do, Jermaine Burton's going to slide into that number 2 receiver slot, and I think he's going to be great. I watched a lot of film on him this week. He's able to burn guys outside. He's able to catch passes in the slot. He's a big, strong body, and I think he's going to be able to play well. So I'm really, really, really happy that we got him after I watched a lot of tape on him this week. And then moving forward, Chris Jenkins, defensive tackle out of Michigan, key, huge piece of that D-line that won Michigan the Natty last year. Again, another player that's going to hurt. We lost Trey. We're probably going to lose Trey Hendrickson. So again, another rookie that can hopefully come into the fold, make some plays next year, and explode in years to come. And then really the last highlight that I want to say that I watched a lot of tape on was McKinney Jackson. He's a defensive tackle out of Texas A&M. He mostly plays nose. Big run stopper. Losing DJ Reader last year, again, bolstering that defensive line to stop the run, third and short situations where we were absolutely horrific on last year. He's a big body. I will say I was watching a lot of tape on him. He is not quick. Like, he's not that quick. He's a little bit of a slow-moving guy, but he is explosive to get off the ball, and he can push guys around. He's another big body. So I think that was definitely a good pick in the third round that we picked up. Again, I watched a lot of tape on him, and I really like the needs that we addressed. We got our guys, and hopefully they can come in and actually make a difference as long as they stay healthy as well. So overall, I give us, pretty good thumbs up for the draft, and it was exciting to be there, man.
Oh yeah, we had a great time in Detroit.
Unbelievable time,
Yeah.
man. Once in a lifetime kind of thing, man. Unbelievable.
That's sick you guys won.
If you hear this and you want to go to the NFL draft, do it once. Don't do it multiple times. It took a toll on my back. I had to do yoga stretches. I had to do yoga stretches the morning before, after the flight. Went for day 2 and day 3, and I was feeling, oh man, it was bad. The knees, the feet. It's a rough one, but definitely a once in a lifetime experience. Definitely.
That's sick.
Matt, I know you want to talk about it. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so I mean, as everyone knows, they were probably looking to trade up for a QB, but uh, it sounds like the Patriots didn't want to trade the pick, so it is what it is. Like I don't really care that much about it, because I honestly think Malik Neighbors is a really good pick. I think in any other draft that Marvin Harrison isn't in, he's definitely a wide receiver 1 type of prospect. So I'm hyped. Malik Neighbors is so he has a lot of records for LSU. I noticed. I'm pretty sure he's leader in like receiving yards, receptions for LSU, which is insane considering all the wide receivers that have come out of that school recently that have been just absolutely, yeah. So they are absolutely one of the best wide receiver schools in the nation. So for him to have those records means something. And yes, they had an insane QB at the helm for LSU, and now he's going to Daniel Jones. So that's the real question now. Like, will he be able to produce with Daniel Jones as his QB? And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think so. And that is not towards him, that's towards Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones is really gonna. I mean, he's not. He's just hasn't. He's not a QB that targets players consistently. He's a guy who spreads the ball around a lot. Even though he's not the greatest QB, like that's just how he's been his whole career. Um, so I'm worried that Malik Neighbors is going to struggle his first year, but that's only because of targets. Otherwise I think we're going to see a lot of flashes of him with the Yak game. We're going to see that he's going to be a great playmaker in the future. So I'm not worried about Malik Neighbors. I think he's going to be a great pick. I think he'll be an amazing wide receiver for years to come. And he's only 20, so
Yeah,
that's another
he is a
huge
he's a
benefit.
young boy.
He's
He's
super
a young
young.
boy.
Yep. And then their second rounder, Tyler Nubin. So they need a replacement for Xavier McKinney, and I think Tyler Nubin is a beast. He was Minnesota's captain at safety. Um, Absolute ball hawk. He is really good at finding interceptions at nothing. Um, and he's a super hard worker. I watch the interviews for all these guys too, and these guys seem like really hardworking players who are gonna just be great leaders. And Tyler Newman is one of those guys. So I'm really excited for Tyler Newman. He offers a little bit different from McKinney. I think McKinney was like a really versatile safety who could play a lot of different positions in and out of the box. While I think Tyler Newman's more of just sitting in the box and like not allowing mid range and close range
Yeah,
targets. So I really think he's a different player, but he'll offer just as much as McKinney if he reaches his potential, which I hope he does. And then third rounder, Andrew Phillips, an olderish corner who I forget his age. I think he's like past 23. I forget, but he really is a project. I think at corner. Giants they they drafted a corner round 1 last year, drafted one round 3 this year. They're just building that secondary up. I think Andrew Phillips he's out of Kentucky. He's someone who's never had an interception in his college career, which is a problem. I just see that as a huge negative. So I don't really know how I feel about him yet. But a prospect I'm really interested in, this is the last one I'll talk about, is Theo Johnson, tight end at Penn State, that they picked up in round 4. And I absolutely love this dude. This dude is a crazy athlete. Rated in like 95th plus percentile in a ton of categories at the combine. He's
yeah,
huge. He's 6'6", 259, which is like those are crazy tight end numbers for
big boy.
size. Huge, dude. This guy's huge. And he ran a 4.5 too as well. So I mean, the dude's an insane athlete. With all the things said about Darren Waller retiring, this was an obvious choice. And to get him in round 4 is pretty good. His production wasn't great at Penn State, but I think his athleticism alone makes him an amazing prospect, and I'm really excited about him. I hope he steps in right away and becomes something important in the receiving game, but we'll see what that. But I'm really excited about that. So those are the prospects I'm looking forward to.
Oh, sure. I can totally agree with that. I mean, I did want to also shout this out to Matt. I mean,
Yeah.
I sent you the picture before, but the Patriots turned down not only your offer but our offer as well. You offered them the 6th round pick as well as a 2025 first rounder. We offered them the 11th, the 23rd, the 2025 first round picks, and then we would do pick swaps with them, and I believe the 4th and the 5th round, and they declined that. So I guess they really love Drake May.
I
I
don't know,
mean,
man. Were
Dude,
you
I was
high on
saying,
Drake May? I don't. I
I,
wasn't.
I, if like, listen, him in New England, it's gonna be a problem because he has 0 weapons. Yeah, they just made all of these draft picks become a wide receiver or become a new talent on that roster because they literally have Juju Smith-Schuster and Kendrick Bourne running that wide receiver room. But like, that's not the veterancy that you want. The veteran present you want there is probably like, as of today's date, a Tyreek Hill, a DeAndre Hopkins, a Marquise Brown in Kansas City. But like New England, I don't know. You were super high. You had the 3rd overall. You could have had the 11th and 23rd. You could have moved down and gotten the 6th and still gotten a great quarterback. I mean, that's I just yeah. I
I'm
really
okay
don't
with
know.
them taking him. I'm okay with both of our teams not getting Drake May. I think what we got was the better outcome out of all the outcomes. You got your QB. We got a wide
Yeah,
receiver.
and we
Daniel
also got a
Jones still on the
D.
contract. Yeah, you got DN.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I think it was good that we didn't get that offer. So
I
I'm
mean, we
alright with
both
it.
keep our first rounders too for next year, which is great.
Yep.
But I also wanted to bring this up. Will, you can oppose to this, but when we were in Detroit watching the New York Giants on the clock, we all thought, oh, nah, this is going to be JJ McCarthy. This is it. This is it.
Yeah,
And
everyone thought that it was going to be JJ McCarthy, and honestly, I going into this on the last pod, I think we were all in kind of agreement that the Giants were probably going to take a QB. Because my thing is, look, Daniel Jones is still under contract. We know that, but now, Matt, you don't have confidence in him. Most of New York doesn't have confidence in him. Basically, next year, if he doesn't ball out at all, he's not going to be a Giant after next year. So where is that gap going to be filled? That's my question. If they didn't take a quarterback in this draft, they're going to have to pick one up maybe in free agency, maybe via a trade somewhere down the line. But the quarterback class for next year is not strong.
Why everyone's saying that, but the quarterback class this year wasn't strong either before they went into it. Besides obviously Caleb Williams. Besides Caleb Williams. People
I
weren't
mean, I'm
really
not going to
hyping it
lie
up.
to you.
I mean
I'm
they
not going to
were,
lie to
but
you here.
not really.
I'm
What?
not going to lie to you here. Shador Sanders.
There's some good
Nah.
prospects. Like I'm just thinking a year or two ago, no one was like they were saying Caleb Williams, you know. But now it ended up being an amazing quarterback draft. Looking now.
I think
So
Drake May was always on the radar of a lot of teams just because he didn't get a lot of the high profile media coverage because he's playing for UNC and they were not a great team. So his accolades alone kind of I feel a year or two ago I knew who he was because he was propelling that single-handedly almost propelling that UNC team to 8 win seasons. So he definitely had some press coming into the draft, but yeah, someone like Jaden Daniels, if he doesn't have the year that he had last year, because most people don't remember, he was in school for 5 years. He was at Arizona State before he went to LSU. He
yeah,
played against Justin Herbert
yeah.
in the Pac-12 4 years
I know.
ago.
Off the
So,
bench.
Jaden Daniels is there a while, and maybe if he doesn't have the record-breaking year that he had at LSU last year, yeah, maybe he goes further back. But I still think it's a great quarterback class, and that's the main question that I would have as a Giant fan. If we're not riding with Daniel Jones after the year, where is that next quarterback or the bridge going to come from? Because
We'll see.
I don't know.
It
I
depends
don't
how
know.
well they do next year. If
It
they are
depends. Yeah,
really
it completely
trash, then
depends.
it's they're just gonna draft one of the top QBs. If they're mid-table, like in the draft, then it's just gonna be whoever falls
And
to them, which is could be hit or miss. It's how it is.
exactly.
So
So
And
you got a lot of question marks in that aspect.
yeah,
I want to move away from pressing the Giants right now. I mean, the Giants did something that it was kind of a shock to me. And don't get me wrong, they were never known for drafting in the first round an amazing talent. Last time it happened was Saquon Barkley, and I'm saying amazing talent on the offensive side. They were
no,
never
Odell
known.
too. I mean, that was after
Oh,
or before
Odell's
Saquon, but still, I mean,
Odell's way farther in advance. I'm talking about like
recent.
within the past, recent. But like you and everybody in the state of New York, or anybody that wore the color blue and white during the NFL season, wants a wide receiver, and you got it.
Yep.
There's no more excuses about a wide receiver or why you don't have any talent. You have the talent. I love Malik Neighbors. Daniel Jones just needs to figure it out. It was a real bad hit. Imagine a Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, and Malik Neighbors offense for New York. That would have been kind of decent. But now you have – I'm surprised you didn't bring him up, the Tyrone Tracy Jr. running back that you guys drafted.
Oh,
Like
true.
I
Yeah.
believe I mean, that'll take, a little bit more energy off of
Well,
Devin Singletary, who's on the older side.
I like Devin Singletary though. I think he could actually. He's not that old. I think he's like 26 or 27. But he'll take majority of the carries. So I just expect that. Not really our drafted running back to take a lot.
Yeah,
So
I mean, he'll probably do what's your backup running back? Chase Brown, I believe, in Cincinnati. He'll probably be like
Yeah,
one of them. Or
yeah,
like
yeah.
a
he
Ty
could
It's a
be.
Swiss Army knife that we could throw in. Yeah, he's
or like
quick.
a Ty Chandler that we have in Minnesota. But like that's what it's gonna be, and maybe he'll be an up and coming guy. But I'm not trying to say I hate the Giants because they did something that was kind of a miracle for him. I'll say it. It was a miracle that they needed. I mean,
It
yeah, they
was.
didn't. They fully gave Daniel Jones the opportunity and the money after beating us in the playoffs, whatever it was, and now he has a weapon. Now he has a weapon.
He does.
It's great. I like it.
Yeah.
Shifting gears here, I know we brought up Drake May. I truthfully think we're going towards this is a major, major call on my part. I think he's going to be another Mac Jones. If you don't remember, Will, you brought it up just now. There was bare minimum coverage about Mac Jones going in because he came off the bench when Jalen Hurts got injured, if I wasn't mistaken, in that natty. Mac Jones was this guy. He won the natty, whatever. But let's be real here. I can kind of see that happening to Drake May anyway. I can kind of see it.
It depends if they can get him any type of real help over the course of his time. I mean, he's going to be a guy where, unlike in Minnesota, where JJ they have a bridge. I mean, there's no one in that quarterback room, so he's getting thrown to the fire right away, just like Mac Jones did. So it's going to be hit or miss.
You keep forgetting about my boy Jacoby Brissett.
Dude, he ain't starting, dude. Robert Kraft gave up all those opportunities to trade back and get someone else. There's no chance that Drake doesn't start week 1, and it's gonna be again almost a project and a trial by fire here. How's he gonna perform week in and week out?
You forgot about Joe Milton.
Yeah, they did pick up.
Yeah, that is true. I forgot about that. Yeah, so we'll see we'll see about that, but I think he starts and he goes through the course of the season, and we see how it goes.
I mean, the dude's got an arm, so I could see a lot of competition in the offseason, especially during camp and all that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely, for sure, for sure.
Now going to the major question mark that is on everyone's mind: Micheal Penix to the Atlanta Falcons.
Dude, I have an incredibly hot take.
You signed Kirk Cousins to, I believe, $180 million. 100 of that is guaranteed for 3 years. The dude left Minnesota because he got word that Minnesota, actually, we even told him we were going after a quarterback. And he goes to the Falcons thinking, all right, I don't got this problem over here. Next minute, shake up the universe, Micheal Penix is Atlanta Falcons. When that happened live, people were screaming.
When that happened live, all 275,000 of us in the crowd collectively were like, "Oh my god!" Everyone's jaw just dropped. Everyone's jaw dropped simultaneously. Nobody in their mother saw that coming, and nobody at all, man. But I will tell you this.
I want to hear this hot take.
I have an incredibly hot take. So we've been sitting on the draft for about, a little over a week, about 10 days, and I've just been thinking all the logical reasons why they would take Micheal Penix at 8 in the first round. Greg, I remember we were on the phone the other day. You brought up a good point, right? Atlanta clearly knows something that the rest of us don't about Kirk Cousins. Obviously, he's coming off the injury. He is injury prone. That's the big question, right? They gave him all this money. It seems inconceivable that they would draft a quarterback. But look, I am a huge proponent of how the NFL does not progress quarterbacks well. There's no such thing as really a lot of teams don't develop quarterbacks. They're really bad. They draft a quarterback. They throw him in right away. We've seen it time and time again. They don't pan out, like Justin Fields. They get traded. Stuff happens. I get that he's 24. I get that he's older. He was a great quarterback at Washington. I think I would have liked him to go anywhere else to see him actually play. But the thing is, man, if you really think about it, they are really playing the long game here. They got their number 2. We saw it pay off with Jordan Love. We saw it pay off before Jordan Love with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers didn't get his first full starting season in the league until he was 27 years old. So it's a long game thing. Yeah. Should they have taken a quarterback 8th overall with the pick that they had? Probably not after all the stuff that they just gave to Kirk Cousins. But I do see the reasoning behind it in the long run. Kirk Cousins is older. He's had the injury problems. They have a guy now who they know is highly talented, know is highly touted. They got him when they did. So I think potentially they're playing the long game like a Jordan Love and an Aaron Rodgers situation. That's just my take. So I don't completely hate the pick. I do not completely disagree with it.
I hate the pick.
Now, yeah,
I
so do
absolutely
I.
hate the
I
pick.
mean,
I hate the
That's
pick.
good. I mean, that's fair enough. That's fair enough, dude. But
Dude, imagine a dude who's already 24 years old not playing till he's 28.
okay,
Bro,
but look what happened to Aaron Rodgers, dude. He sat behind Favre for 3-4
he's
years,
not Aaron
man.
Rodgers. Come on.
but
We're talking about
Okay,
one of
but
the
we
best
didn't know. We
QBs of
didn't
all
know.
time.
We didn't. They drafted Aaron Rodgers 22nd
Aaron
overall out of
Rodgers
Cal,
was
man.
Aaron Rodgers was being discussed as the best QB during that draft he was in. He was being discussed as
hold on,
that.
Listen,
Penix was not even top 3, bro,
I'm not
in this
exactly
draft.
comparing Penix to Rodgers, but I'm comparing the situation on why they drafted him at 8 to the Rodgers and Jordan Love situation. They're setting up for the long game because they don't want to have a question mark at quarterback if Kirk Cousins gets destroyed or injured or he plays horribly. They're going to have another guy there.
If I'm Kirk Cousins, I'm requesting to be traded to the Raiders right now, dude. Right now. That's what I'm doing because that's a joke. That is a joke. He literally left the Vikings because they said they wanted to draft QB and have him under him for the next like year or two. He literally left the Vikings because of that. And look what happened. He walks in the same situation with a team that isn't nearly as talented on offense. They are talented, but not nearly as talented on offense. So
I just
if
think
I'm
that
him, I'm going to Raiders. I'm like, get me on a train or a train. Get me on a flight to the Raiders right now and get me over there, because I will do
dude,
work in that division. That's what I'm saying.
listen,
Raiders,
I don't disagree.
Nation.
I do not disagree with what you're saying, but I'm trying to prove here is that as I've thought about it more and more, I can at least see and understand the thought process why they chose him. Yeah,
Yeah, and they're
at 8,
idiots. That's why.
I listen, at 8, it's stupid. At 8 in round 1, with what you had on the board, it's stupid. They could have got Rome, they could have got Kirk another weapon. I
They should have
understand that.
got the
But I
best
do
defensive player in the draft. That's who they should have gotten. And then the Vikings got him. Yeah, imagine that. Like,
17.
what's going on here, dude?
17.
What's going on here? Like, that's my problem.
I see the rationale. I know what you're saying, but I can understand the rationale behind it. They were going for not having a bridge. They wanted someone to come in after Kirk Cousins, fully developed and ready to go, and that's what they did. That's what they did.
All right,
I'm telling you, that's the
let me
reason why.
let me chop this up. One thing, Will, they're not the Green Bay Packers. They're the Atlanta Falcons. They blew a lead in the Super Bowl. Tom fucking Brady.
And
I'm
that's
bringing
all
that up.
wash. That's all wash, man. It's 7
All
years
right,
ago.
I get your point about the whole Aaron Rodgers featuring, being behind Brett Favre, being behind Jordan Love. I get it. It's there. But it's fucking Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, you saw what he did in Minnesota. I saw what he did in Minnesota. He won us one playoff game, one, and it was from Kyle Rudolph after having how many weapons we had. I'm sorry. Anyway, switching this up, I'm going to go and push towards the Chiefs. Everybody's been talking about Xavier Worthy. Everybody's been talking about the Chiefs getting their guy that replaces Tyreek Hill, the perimeter. We're going to see the Patrick Mahomes down like 60 yards down the field. Tay-Tay's going to be in the crowd. Everybody's going to be screaming. He's buns. He's absolutely buns. The dude can't catch a ball. He looks worse than Darius Toney playoff mode. He is so bad.
Yeah, I think it could be a bit of a reach, but here's the thing, man. And again, talking about the Chiefs in any regard, they just went back to back. Okay, so the second you start betting on a dynasty, just like we did at the beginning of this season, they're going to turn it up and make plays, man. Whether he's good or not, he's going into a system with Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid. It's gonna be fine.
Now, I'm
It's
not
gonna be fine.
I'm not saying that the Chiefs are going to be horrendous. I just think that pick is very
I agree.
questionable.
I
Yeah.
agree with that. I would agree. Yeah,
Like they should have
it
went
is
for
questionable.
Keon
So
Coleman, man.
Yeah,
They should have
Keon
went for
Coleman
Keon
is a
Coleman.
baller.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he's a beast.
So I'm surprised they didn't go for him. But I don't think he's gonna be bad. I just think where he was picked among all the other receivers makes no sense. Like there was a lot of other better receivers that went after him. That's my opinion. But I still think he's gonna be good. I think he'll be good. Like not like number one receiver type good, but like a
But he'll be
solid
catching
player.
stuff in the slot. Yeah,
Yeah, he'll be.
yeah, I
He
agree.
ran the fastest 40 since like
Yep.
2003. So he's got so much speed to him.
no, that was a Dory Jackson who tied Chris Johnson. That was a few years ago. But
Oh.
we saw. I just want to put this out there. Speed today means absolute nothing if you're not Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
I think it
Tyreek's got
depends.
agility.
Tyreek Hill is not only athletically sound, but he has agility. He's fast as hell. And he didn't prove it in the draft, or the combine. But look at it, dude. He was on pace in week 5 to break the record. The single season record, Randy Moss. Or right? It was Randy Moss, his record. Or Justin Jefferson.
I mean, listen, I still think that speed kills, man, even in today's NFL for a lot of things. And you got to think about how the Chiefs play. Pat Mahomes is arguably the best mobile quarterback of all time. They're going to spread the ball out to the receivers. They're going to throw quick slants. Like, ideally, he would be perfect for that because that's what he did at Texas. So I don't. Again, yeah, I agree that there was definitely like Coleman. There was other receivers there that they probably, we would say that they were in a better position. But again, I don't absolutely hate it. He's gonna fit into the mold, man, and they're gonna throw him the ball.
I mean, I see what they did. They wanted to go wide receiver because it's still not known what's going to happen to Rasheed Rice. And Marquise Brown is inevitably going to get injured in that division and that schedule. But
Yeah,
let's be honest here. It was not a great call for them. They could have had Keon Coleman, like Matt said, or they could have done something a little bit spicier when defense. They just lost Ladarius Sneed. They could have gotten someone in the back end. Anyway, going to Cooper DeJean. Why was he a second round pick to the Philadelphia fucking Eagles?
I can't believe they took 2 corners. That's what I'm surprised about.
they did. Yeah, I was definitely surprised about that.
I see what they're going to do. They're going to put Mitchell at the other side from Darius and then throw Cooper DeJean in safety.
I love
Cooper
dude.
DeJean.
I do not want Cooper DeJean. I want him to be CB1, bro.
He's a beast,
Bro,
though.
I mean,
He's a
they're gonna
baller.
do
They
it.
need to give him a chance. They shouldn't move him to safety, dude.
I don't want him to either, but I don't care what they
He's
do.
He's a baller, man. Literally, the tape from Iowa, he in the game 2 years ago against Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm pretty sure that was the lowest total yards from scrimmage he had in an Ohio State uniform going against DeJean. So the man can ball, bro. The man can flat out ball at CB1. So I hope they don't move him to safety. Because I want to see him play. I want to see him play there.
You and me both, but it's going to inevitably happen. They're going to make that kid what is that? They're going to make that kid a safety. He's not going to be a corner. CB1 should be deserved. We're going to see our first. We're going to see, I'm not going to do it, so we're not canceled, but we're going to see our first Caucasian male as a corner in a while. And, I mean, it'll be something new. I mean, I'll enjoy it. As much as I hate the Eagles, it'll be fun to see him play. Just a question there, though. Why was he in the second round? Because what kind of shocked me is that we picked Dallas Turner over Cooper DeJean at 17 or at 23. We traded up for, I get a piece on our defensive line, but we could have had that dude come in and start for us on wide receiver 2 in Minnesota.
I don't know. That is a question. That definitely is a question with the later rounds, especially with a team like the Bills. Like we're trading back and trading out teams that needed. Personally, I don't know. it really came down to who was at the pick, who had the defensive scheme to kind of throw him in. And like I said, I was surprised that the Eagles got him early in the second round because they took Mitchell at what was that, 19 or 20?
They traded up for
Yep.
Cooper DeJean,
Yeah,
Yep.
which is crazy.
I mean,
So-
I'm glad you said it though. You said it and started in there right there. Bills, what are you doing? What are the Bills doing, man? They got Keon Coleman in the second round. All right, cool. But dude, what are we doing here? Trade out of the first round for what?
Man,
I
they
don't know.
got
What?
I mean, that's a question I feel like only their front office can answer. I for what they got and what they received from that, yeah, that's highly questionable for a team that's going to be past a Super Bowl window. That is, we can all agree that they are now going to be in a rebuild. They've lost a lot. I think that I don't know. It's a mystery. It's a question mark to me as well as is to you guys. I don't know why they traded out. I know we were talking about it on the draft night when we were coming back. It was weird. It was weird.
Very. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. But I mean, Buffalo, you're going to have a rough season. Aaron Rodgers is back for the Jets. The Dolphins are looking nasty. We don't know what's going to happen in New England with Drake. I mean, it's all type of delirious at the AFC East. But you said it best. They're out of their playoff picture. I think their Super Bowl run is
I think
gone.
so.
They shouldn't be called the Bills Mafia. They don't even have a. You need to have a ring to kiss in the Mafia, unlike the Bills. The Bills have zero. Zero. Why are they called the Bills Mafia? They said this in Tom Brady's roast last night. I mean, dude, you're not called the Bills Mafia if you don't got a ring. They don't got it, and they lost their chances.
And they
They
lost their
lost it.
chance. Yeah, it's gonna be rough times in Buffalo, I think, for the next couple of years, and we'll see what happens with Josh Allen. Hey, that's something that the Giants can hop on at the end of next year.
Bro, I mean, that's a dream, but
That's a
I
dream,
don't.
but yeah,
He's
I
not
don't
leaving
see
the
the.
Bills, man.
No, the Bills can pay him whatever the hell they want for the next
Yeah,
decade. So yeah, he's not leaving. But a man can dream, bro.
I'll
Man
I'll
can
dream
dream.
it. I'll dream it. Don't worry. I'll be dreaming that.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to bring up, as I said it before, the fifth-year options and why they were declined. I think we're done with the question marks that happened in the draft. There's going to be more questions at the end that I want to give you two to spew and fight over. But these fifth years options, like the Pittsburgh Steelers declining Najee as well as Justin Fields. That brings an alert to me that one, Justin Fields can see a payday, or he could be moved. And then Najee, he's a good ball player. As much as you hate him, Will, he's a good running back all around. He's
Yeah.
big, catch balls. We've seen him prove it. He kind of reminds me of a playoff Lenny. Declining those two fifth years options, Pittsburgh, you're kind of in a little trouble here, but maybe you have raps for it. Mike Tomlin knows his ways.
I think with Justin Fields, it really comes down to the key, Russell Wilson's going to start week 1. How does Russell play? Is Justin Fields actually going to get into the mix if Russell plays bad? And then if he does, how does he react to that? How does he perform? Like I said in previous podcasts, I still like Justin Fields. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he can make his name for himself somewhere else. Even if it's not Pittsburgh, I think there is room in this league for a player of his caliber. But declining the fifth-year option, I think, like you said, Mike Tomlin knows exactly what he's going to do. And it's just going to come down to how he plays and how he kind of fits into the system. Same thing with Najee Harris. I think his production has kind of steadily started to dip a little bit. And it'll be a make or break year for him. If he plays well, he'll get paid. If he doesn't, he'll get moved. I think it just comes down to that. How he's going to perform week in and week out is what we're going to see from him. And if they decide to pay him.
I mean, I was really shocked to see Najee not getting a little bit of an extension. Yeah, you have a whole nother year with him for him to dialect of how he's going to play after the hump. But that was kind of shocking to me. Matt, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know about you,
Um,
man. Like,
I think Najee Harris will have a good year because they have a better offensive coordinator now for the run game, and I I don't know. I don't think he'll get moved. I think declining a fifth year option's smart because they have a new offensive coordinator. They just don't know how the offense is going to work right now. Um,
Fair.
but that's specifically just for Najee Harris. Like, I get that whole situation, and I don't think he's had a bad year last year. I mean, he has had 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons, I'm pretty sure. I think the ups and downs came um, just because the offense was terrible. I mean, it was really bad last year. I don't know. Um, but yeah. Who else got declined again?
You want to move away from the Steelers? We see
Yeah.
Trey Lance, which is kind of a little shocking with Dak Prescott and his situation in Dallas. I mean, I was kind of shocked to see that. I thought Trey Lance would have got a job in Dallas if Dak was
Nah.
moved.
I don't know. Trey Lance he's a project I think no one wants to get involved with. That's a problem with him.
I
I mean, I
agree with
get
that. And then also too in Dallas, I think this year, especially more than ever, and Jerry Jones definitely knows it, all of those players all of those players on offense, all of those stars, it's either you win in the playoffs this year or they should clear house, man.
I mean,
Dak, everybody, man. There's no reason that team should be winning 12 games a year and then fumbling the bag in the playoffs. So I agree with Matt. Trey Lance, in that sense, is a project that nobody really wants, and it's a shame because do you guys remember his first couple weeks before he had that ankle
oh,
injury?
Yeah.
I mean, he was
he was sick.
balling. He was balling out. He was balling out for the 49ers, and
He
then
was alright.
one thing led to another, and then here we are with Brock Purdy now. But
Brock Purdy's awesome though.
he
Brock Purdy's like,
he is.
he's top. He's a good quarterback.
We'll get into that. We'll get
Yeah.
it.
All
We
right.
also saw Zach Wilson, inevitable. He has
Inevitable.
prove a year in Denver. I get it, with now Bo Nix to fight for it. We also saw Kadarius Toney, no hands Tony. It's fair to say. I mean, you
Get him
fumbled
out
the
of
bag
there.
so many
Giants,
times this game.
we stole that pick from them. Stole it. Joe
I
Shane,
mean, it's very.
good job, buddy.
I
Good
mean,
job.
hey, Will, you remember the meme? Who's your favorite player of the Kansas City Chiefs? Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes.
Dude doesn't know anyone
Yeah.
else's name in the whole locker room. That's why.
Dude, he's on one.
Not
He's
a
on
clue,
one.
man. I don't know where he's gonna have a job, if
Zero. No,
anywhere.
it doesn't matter. He sucks. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't matter.
he'll
And
be
then
sitting
we
the bench.
saw Mac Jones. Mac Jones get declined as well from Jacksonville. Smart, but I mean,
His
they're going to
career's
need a
over.
2 guy. Maybe Mac could figure it out somewhere else. Maybe that's probably a backup. Not going to lie, kind of gives me that Ryan Fitzpatrick vibes.
And moving
That's what
around
I get.
journeyman. Yeah, I think I will say the good thing about that, having a quarterback in Mac Jones that does have a decent amount of NFL snaps. If Trevor Lawrence goes down, and he's played through some injuries, Mac Jones will be able to get under center and at least have some kind of experience. So at the end of the day, if Trevor Lawrence goes down, they have that safety net. But yeah, I don't see him staying there after this year. He'll hit, like you said, perfect kind of comparison to a Ryan Fitzpatrick. Probably just an NFL career journeyman, just going around being a backup, get a few good starts here and there. We'll see.
That's maybe get a playoff win. Maybe we've seen Fitzpatrick.
Never know. Yeah, never know.
Damn. Now, these questions are only for you two, and I really just want to dissect your minds on it. Let's go with the number one overall. In today's date, where would you put Caleb Williams out of all the other 31 starting quarterbacks in the league? Is he a top 20, top 15, top 25? And don't even say top 10, because if you do, I'm going to smack you both next time I see you. But go on. I'm going to say,
me,
Will, you're up first.
Oh, go ahead,
Or
Will.
actually,
Oh,
Matt,
I'm saying top 15 because I've said this before, and I already know he's going to be talented as hell. So now put one of the best wide receiver cores around him in the entire league. They're projecting him to have a higher ceiling than Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck. Like, come on, man.
This is
Andrew Luck was one of the top prospects in this generation, and They're saying he's up there with him. They're saying he's better than Trevor Lawrence coming out of college. For him not to be a top 15
Absolutely
QB,
not. Don't ever say
yes,
that
they've
one,
said
man.
that, dude.
Yeah,
All
but
these guys, all these
don't
analysts are
you
saying
repeat
that.
that, dude. Dude,
What have Trevor
Trevor
Lawrence
Lawrence.
done so far, though? To be honest with
Yeah,
you, what has he done?
you're talking about comparing them when they came out of college. Trevor Lawrence, since Andrew Luck, I personally think was the most NFL ready quarterback that I saw in high school and college since Andrew Luck. He was 6'6". He threw the ball. He still does throw the ball on the tightest ice rope I've ever seen from a quarterback. He can see over the line. I don't want to have any comparisons with Trevor Lawrence.
All right,
Look,
what?
Caleb Williams will be good. Okay. Right now I would put him a little further back. I'd say top 20. Again, hasn't taken an NFL snap yet. We haven't seen it with our own eyes, but yeah, surround him with the receiving core and the team that they're building in Chicago. Inevitably, he's probably going to be good. But I can't get that invested in it yet. I just can't, man. I really can't.
That's fair to say. That's fair to say. You both have great points there. I mean, Caleb Williams is a little off the deep end with his priorities off the field and on the field. I mean, he has a great work ethic. I've heard. I
Dude, just
mean,
watch
what
the
his
film,
dad is.
Greg. Just watch the film.
Yeah,
Dude, I
but
That's
do you
know.
all
see
I'm
the film
saying.
when he got blown out by 25 points to Notre Dame and threw
Did you see their
like
defense
3
play?
picks?
Bro, all right. Well, that's like the worst game of his career. But, dude, every player has gone through some sort of terrible game like that, even if they're a top prospect. Like, come on. Like,
I mean, that's very true.
I understand that, dude, but man, I don't know. I don't know. I'd still give him the credit of being a top 20 when he comes in, just because of how talented he is, and I have watched the tape on him. But again, the off-field issues too. He's got that stuff going on. We'll see how it transpires into the locker room in Chicago.
he's gonna ball
Chicago's
out.
also they're a questionable organization. Now, you saying top 15? Do you say 15, or do you think he's going to be in the high teens, like
He's
10 to
making the
15?
playoffs. That's what I'm saying top 15 for. I think they make the
I just
playoffs. So,
verify this. Do you think he's better than, let's say, the top 15 best quarterbacks in the NFL today? I can list them off to you. I'm just asking. I'll give you
he's in the
names.
no, he's in the conversation, you know.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's better than I think he's in the conversation of being in top 15 if he performs well this year. I don't think he's better than anyone in the top 15 right now, so to say.
I'll t- I'll ask you this. I'll ask you this, bro. With what we saw through weeks 1 through 5, everyone is so hot on AR in Indy. Do you think week 1 Caleb Williams is better already than weeks 1 through 5 AR than what we've
Yeah,
seen?
yes, definitely. Anthony Richardson, we had no idea how good he was going to be. He has one of the best offensive coaches in the NFL. He runs the ball like a maniac inside the goal, like inside the 5. Um, and I mean, yeah, and he didn't even have like honestly, let me just say this. AR was a surprise. Caleb Williams is no surprise. And that's all I gotta say. I mean, he's gonna be better than AR. It's just obvious.
It could be a hot take. It could be not. I mean, hey, I'm just asking the difficult questions here. I kind of agree that he could be that superstar talent with what he has, and he has a great offensive mindset. I've seen it in USC. I mean, look what he did. He put Jordan Addison on the map for us. He was reluctantly a great quarterback for him, and we saw what Jordan Addison did for the Vikings this past season. But this also brings up the question: is he going to have that rookie phase where it's the, happy, I'm in the NFL, and then instantly smash, like you're done? Or is he going to ride into the sunset in Chicago? I mean, these are questions that we have to wait to see. I'm sorry, I glitched out right there. We have questions to wait to see here. But, I mean, shifting gears here. I know, Matt, you're very high on this kid, and I want to ask you, do you think CJ Stroud is a top 15 quarterback?
100%. CJ Stroud
So
is
he's hold
what?
on. Is he better than Josh Allen?
No. Josh Allen's like top 3. Yeah.
Is he is he better than Kirk Cousins?
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Is he better than Tua Tagovailoa?
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes?
No.
Lamar Jackson?
No. He's
Joe Burrow?
no. I want to
Dude, he
say yes,
hasn't
but
done.
no.
What are you on, dude? What are you on, bro?
No, Joe
Listen,
Burrow's
man.
great, dude. Joe Burrow's great.
CJ Stroud exceeded all expectations last year. He had a monster season, don't get me wrong, but the biggest thing for him is going to be how he comes back and plays sophomore year. That's the biggest question mark for him. I think he's great. I would put him in top 15 easily right now, but we got to see how he comes back. We said a lot of people said the same thing about Baker Mayfield after his monster rookie year in 2018, and then look what happened. He regressed for 2, 3, 4 years, and now he's starting to pick it back up again. So, listen, by all means, I want him to be successful. I love CJ Stroud. I think he's a great quarterback. Like I said, top 15. But, so the sophomore slump is a real thing. So, we'll see. We'll see. But I would agree he's better than a considerable handful of starters in this league right now.
He had the best rookie year, one of the best rookie years of all time. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't really fall off of cliff after that. I'll tell you that. Like you just don't. And now that they have Stephon Diggs, I'll say this too. CJ Stroud made the whole team around him better. You don't see that
Agreed.
happening very often
Agreed.
as a rookie. You just don't.
No,
So
I agree.
that happened.
That's a very good point. He's a
Okay.
leader too.
He is.
Now,
He's a leader.
shifting from young talent to old talent, we just saw OBJ go to Miami. Is he still a top 20 wide receiver?
No.
No chance.
No.
Not at all.
Right?
No.
Not at all. No.
I mean, everybody's saying that OBJ is on his high horse headed to Miami with arguably one of the better wide receiver cores in the league. I mean, you have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle.
He'll get.
It could be a problem. It could be a problem.
He's not going to get that many targets.
What, dude. He won't get. He will. Yeah, I agree. You said yeah. He will not get that many targets. And one thing I'll say about OBJ, man. I've been saying it for years, and I'll continue to say it. If he does not have that catch against Dallas, is he as big of a receiver as he has been?
Yeah. Dude, no, that's stupid though, because he had the best rookie year in NFL history. He had 1,300 yards. Who cares about just the catch?
But he got propelled to the heavens because of
Yeah.
that catch. Dude.
Yeah, of course
And
he
then
did.
but then I feel like a lot of teams overestimated his talent after that.
No. He got no, that's not how it happened. So basically, Dave Gettleman traded him away. He wanted to stay with the Giants. He came off of ankle surgery the following year. They were like, well, like OBJ is just gonna be a problem now because he was like, he was a hothead.
Yeah.
He was a hothead.
Yapping. He's yapping.
So, but I don't blame him because like the whole controversies about QB, like Daniel Jones coming in, Eli was trash before he retired. Like there was a lot of problems with the Giants right when he was hitting his peak. So him getting traded to the Browns pretty much ruined his career. And then yeah, he's been traded around a ton, but also I see his value because he does have like those flashes of being an amazing receiver that we saw with the Rams. But then also he has just that problem of like he's not as reliable. He was gonna miss games every year, and signing a 1-year contract is all that he's gonna get for the rest of his career. It's just that's all he's gonna get.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll maybe get a ring in Miami. I can probably say it.
If they get number one seed. If they get number one seed. If they don't get number one seed, they're not gonna win any games away.
They are frauds. Frauds in the playoffs.
All right.
Frauds.
All right. Do you hear that phone call?
Frauds.
Miami Dolphins. They're frauds. Another question I have. It's to reflect Sean Payton's view of Bo Nix. If everybody's heard, I'm sure you two have heard, he believes Bo Nix is the same caliber quarterback as Patrick Mahomes. Do you agree or disagree?
Dude.
I mean, what are we talking about here?
Come on.
Talent?
Do you think
we're talking about talent right now?
You were talking about talent. He don't got much.
Dude, talent-wise, he gets talent-wise, okay, he has accurate pass. Like he throw the ball well. What else are we
I
talking
mean,
about then?
he's
What
now
else?
suited up with his teammate. He has an arm that can launch down at least 60 yards to 75 yards. The dude is a cannon. I mean, it's inevitably. Could we see the next Patrick Mahomes? Could we see the next CJ Stroud? Could we see it from this dude that was drafted middle of the pack in the first round that everybody said he's going to the second round? He's going to be a third round
Well, let
pick,
me
a
ask you
fourth
this
round.
then. Let me ask you this. Will he be better this year than how he was, or than how Russell Wilson was last year? Like, will he be better? Let me reword that. Will he be better than Russell Wilson from last year? So will he throw like 30 touchdowns and have like 12 picks or whatever his stats were?
I think he'll have better.
You think he'll be better than Russell Wilson than how Russell Wilson was last year with
On
them?
that Denver
I
team right now, I don't think so. No.
I don't think
I
so
believe.
either.
I believe.
Maybe in
I
a year
believe.
or two, but not next year.
I think the dude will ball. He has Troy Franklin, who I wanted, to come to a very great team. I mean, Denver could be a great team, but then again, it's Denver. Sean Payton's madness, his little carnival. I truthfully think he'll ball out in Denver. I mean, the atmosphere there is great. It's kind of reciprocal to Oregon. I mean, he's under the pressure. He has the potency of being that starting QB, which what they want for him if they drafted him that highly. Nobody had him going into the middle teens in the first round. I mean, personally, I can see Denver making a little push. They're not going to be overcoming Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, but I can see them possibly getting over the Raiders. And depending how Harbaugh's Chargers go, I can see them possibly surpassing the Chargers.
I think
Possibly.
that Zach Wilson starts half the year for them.
Really?
No, dude, no way.
Yeah, I think
No
so. I
way.
think
Zach
Zach
Wilson's
Wilson
You're
never
saying
plays.
half
touching.
the game.
Zach Wilson's not touching
I
a preseason game, let alone a
I think
regular season game.
I think Zach Wilson plays starts at least 6 games in Denver.
You're crazy.
I do.
That is something else, dude. Wow.
Dude, I think
No
he starts at
way.
least 6 games in Denver. Yeah.
No way. Sean Payton praised this guy. Sean Payton praised Bo Nix, dude. No way.
If the Broncos were not in the position that they were at that time of the draft, they would have taken literally anyone else.
Zach Wilson is
Anyone else.
shitting his pants as he plays, dude.
They had to take Bo Nix because he was the last of those 5.
He was their choice the whole time.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think they
Switching
wanted
gears here.
Okay.
I know you want to say Penix, but Penix is a fucking Falcon now, man. I mean, we can't rely on that anymore. It's a rough one in Atlanta. Now, this one I have, I show love to Terry McLaurin. I like him. Do you think this is the year that he will breach the top 5 wide receivers?
No. And I'm not saying that just because I think he's bad talent. I'm just saying that because there's a lot.
There's so many other great receivers, man.
Well, not just that.
Okay,
Well, that too. Yeah, that's a good point.
let's push this back a little bit. Let's just say in the top 10. He's not number 10. He's in the top 10 wide receivers.
So that means he'll probably have to get like 1,200 yards receiving, like 5+
least.
touchdowns.
Probably somewhere around 9 to 10. Yeah.
So you think Jaden Daniels is going to be rookie of the year then?
Yeah.
Well, if
That's
you're
my
saying
hot take.
that, well, okay. Well, then, yeah, that makes sense if you're thinking he's going to be rookie of the year.
But I'm asking you guys personally, different brains.
No.
Do you think Terry McLaurin reached that milestone? He hasn't hit it once.
I don't think he does this year either. I think that the Commanders as a whole got better, but that division in that side of the NFC is still going to be hard. Again, he's a good player. He's on my fantasy team last year, but I don't see him breaching top. I just don't see it. I think there's just too many other good receivers to kind of have that. But again, going back to what you were saying, if you think that Jay Daniels it genuinely could be up there for Rookie of the Year, then it would make sense. But I don't think he will be.
Yeah, I just
All right,
don't
that's
either.
fair. It's fair to say. And now this one's strictly to get under Matt's skin. Is Saquon Barkley gonna be a top 10 running back at the end of the season?
Yeah, I think he will.
Yeah,
They paid him a ton of money, and they're gonna give him a ton of snaps. He's gonna be pretty valuable in also the pass game. Knowing how the Giants used him, like he could play all over the field. He literally lined up outside as a receiver for the Giants several times throughout the season. So dude, he's gonna get a ton of touches, ground game. He'll get a ton of receptions. So yeah, I mean yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah.
Well, what do you got? Do you think he goes?
yeah. I think he goes in top 10. Like Matt, you was saying, he's a very versatile running back. We know how good he is throughout the years. And then going to that Eagles offense is going to be a juggernaut, man. Better O
I mean,
line, better quarterback, better people around him. I think he's going to have a monster season. If I'm being honest with you, he may even be top 5.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
it's fair,
surprised.
I would
Yeah.
not be surprised.
fair to say. But yeah, I guess that wraps up my question this episode. That was a great NFL draft recap. Little question marks we ran over in the 5th-year options. I mean, it's great to see it. And, next one will probably be the predictions coming in the NFL schedule release this Thursday. And a lot
Way
of
too
big
early predictions. Way
a
too
lot
early predictions.
Yeah.
of conversations to have. I mean, we'll go over potency of strength of schedule. We'll go over it all. But, how we are. But, yep, thank you all for watching the 3 over 32 podcast, and I'll catch you next time.